Sorry I wasn't able to take a photo of the food. I had some prata and some pretty awesome sambal. Now I'm having my coffee, and guess where I am? Okay, hi, you're watching Greg's Beat Eats, and I'm here at Tiong Bahru Market for a very short vlog to talk about two things today. Firstly, in my vlog about the roast meats at Tiong Bahru Li Hong Ki Cantonese Roasted, I only showed you one cut of char siu, the pan fei so, the half lean, half fat cut. But there are actually 4 more cuts of char siu at the stall here. So I'm back to talk about the different cuts which you can also order here. And also, since I'm doing that, I might as well do a how to order char siu 101 for people who don't actually know that there are actually different ways of ordering char siu when you're at a roast meat stall. Today's episode is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Think about how much of your life is on the internet. Every site you visit, every video you watch, message you send, all of that gets tracked and data mined. When you run Surfshark VPN on your device, the software hides your IP address, making your activity a lot more difficult to trace. Surfshark VPN also encrypts 100% of your internet data to keep you safe from hackers and eavesdroppers. What I like most about Surfshark VPN is how easy it is to use. Download the app on your phone or computer, tap one button and now you're protected. Surfshark VPN does all of that without slowing your connection. So stop handing over personal data to big tech companies that mine your activity and sells your information. Instead, protect yourself with a VPN that I trust to keep myself safe online. Visit surfshark.com and use my coupon code GregsBeatEats, and that'll get you a whopping 85% off and 3 months free for a holiday special. I have a link in the description box below, and now back to the review. So we have all the varieties of char siu that this stall offers, and at any Chinese roast meat stall if they have them. So we have the lean char siu here, which is shòu. Then we have this char siu, half fatty, half lean, pan fei so. Then we have the fatty char siu here, fei. We have 2 more cuts, and these next cuts are actually less common. You won't find them at many roast meat stalls So what we have is the bùjiàn tiān char siu, which translates as doesn't see sky. It's basically meat from the armpit area of the pig. The meat in between the shoulder and the pork belly. And then lastly, what we have is the char siu ribs, kuat, ku. So first tasting the, let's go for the most boring part okay? Which is the lean char siu. I've already described the taste of the excellent char siu at Li Hong Ki in my vlog, so you can refer to that. I'll put a link to the original vlog in the video description below And this is basically pork shoulder meat, and it's generally not fatty and has a firmer chew to the meat. Tends to be drier. I mean, some stalls can do it very dry, and it takes a lot of skill to do it tender and moist. And here it's done with a bit of moistness. It's still very nice. But generally speaking, you will probably need a little gravy to add a little bit of oil richness and moisture into the mix Next we have the half fat, half lean char siu, pan fei so. Much better. I mean, what it says is pan fei so, which is half fat, half lean But in reality, it isn't 50% pork and 50% fat. That actually is more towards fei when you order fei, that's what you get. This is basically meat with a little bit more fat on it. So it's probably ranging in about the 20 to maybe stretching 30% fat around there. But personally, it's a nice balance of fat and meat It's nice when you eat it on its own or with rice. And the meat from this stall in particular is done very well. Moist and tender meat, and the fat has a melting texture. Let me try one more piece. Next, the fatty char siu. So as you can see, there's meat right in there, and it's surrounded by fat. Oh my god. And that's the ultimate in decadent richness. Very nice, soft fat with a little bit of bounce still, and that wonderful marinade flavor. Absolutely wonderful. Here you can actually taste that the fat is distinct from the meat itself. It's two separate entities, which is not the case when you order the bùjiàn tiān. So if you look at it, right, a bit hard to explain, but I'll just show you first. Show you another piece. It's a bit hard to see, maybe, but this has an interesting texture if you look at the meat. The meat and fat is mixed and integrated with one another so that it's actually not separate. It actually behaves like one, broadly speaking, one texture. So it's got this interesting meat texture that's softer than usual, and it's got this fat texture that's meatier than usual. It's very unusual. This is bordering on probably the softest char siu meat that you can buy. Okay, next, the char siu ribs. Well, this is still amazing, but it's not soft and supple like fatty char siu or bùjiàn tiān or anything like that. This is purely meat, where meat is meat. The meat has a hardy texture. There's more connective tissue, but it's not as dry as muscle meat because it's close to the bone. And also because it's close to the bone, right, the pork flavor is a little bit more intense. And this is one of the more unusual cuts you can get at the stall. Not many roast meat stalls will actually sell you roasted char siu ribs, and this stall does it very well. Okay, finished. Okay, one more note. When you're talking about the firmness of the char siu, right, I'll tell you how it ranks. Number one firm, this one, the ribs. Then the lean char siu, fan fei shòu. Then the fatty char siu, then the bùjiàn tiān. Bùjiàn tiān is the softest of the lot, basically. It also has the most fat, I presume. Now there is a new cut of char siu, which has been gaining popularity over the past decade, 2 decades or so, in Singapore at least. And for that, we need to head over to Old Airport Road Food Centre to talk about it. So see you in a few days. Okay, so I'm here at Old Airport Road Food Centre, and I have a plate of char siu from Roast Paradise. And this is the new cut of char siu that a few roast meat stalls have been increasingly switching over to. It is char siu using the pork belly part of the pig. I know that Roast Paradise over here uses pork belly for their char siu. So does Chung Ki at Golden Mile and 88 Hong Kong roast meat at Lavender. And the media have been giving their char siu a lot of high praise because of this sinful char siu cut. And as a consequence, the stalls have gotten quite a number of fans because of it. So trying a piece. Now, this is literally an explosion in your mouth. Okay, by the way, this plate costs $12 and it is about 200 grams of char siu. It is literally 50% fat and 50% meat, or sometimes more fat than meat, depending on where they actually slice it. And because it is pork belly, the meat is very soft, but they roast it such that there's still a very slight bite to it. It's not completely overly soft or anything. But as you can tell, this is the ultimate in char siu eating because it is so sinfully rich. But that being said, not everyone will like this style because the texture tends to be on the softer side, and there are quite a few people who like their meat to have a firm bite to it instead. But for those of you who don't mind the slightly softer bite, right, this char siu is a must try. The sinful richness is really out of this world. One other problem about stalls using this cut is that you can't specify how fatty you want your char siu to be. Because pork belly is quite uniform when it comes to meat to fat ratio. So you can't ask for leaner or fattier. So for pork belly char siu, you eat it as it is. No custom order here. As for the char siu here, right, the taste profile is actually very, very nicely done. It's very gently sweet and lightly savoury. It's not overpowering at all. And then if you want it more saltier and sweeter, you can actually add char siu sauce at the side. It's over here. Okay, finished. So that was a look at the various cuts of char siu and how to order them at any Chinese roast meat stall in Singapore, if they have the cut in the first place. And to me, all the cuts of char siu are appealing in their own way. It just depends on whether you like your meat more textural or more meaty or more fatty or less fatty and so on. So I hope you found this video useful, and next time when you're at the roast meat stall, you can try to zone in on the specific cut of char siu that you would like. You might like that better instead of just ordering a very general char siu rice. If you just ask that, hawkers would tend to give you the default lean cut lah. Or in this stall's case, the pork belly, as they specialize in it, they don't have any lean cut. So thanks for watching another episode of Grexby Eats, where I eat through the whole of Singapore. If you liked this episode, give it a like, subscribe and comment below, and turn on the notifications bell, and I will see you in the next one for more eating. Bye bye.